Tweyen is the 2-dot terror. Song skills seal the deal, inflicting potent poisons and burns that scale in a way that you didn't quite expect. Welcome to our deep dive into dots. We tested things extensively on stream this week, validating a number of theories and myth-busting a number of rumors. Remember, it doesn't matter what we can say, it matters what we can prove. So let's start with why dots matter. Dots have a unique damage calculation that defies not just infinity, but the rules of damage cap as well. But don't take my word for it. Let's say hello to our good old friend, Sir Barold.
I wouldn't exactly call us friends. I mean, you only really show up when you want to beat me to a pulp.
Can't argue with that. Well, let's get started. Alright, the first thing we're going to do is make sure we are wearing nothing. We have no gear on, so nothing can impact how much damage we're dealing with our dots. We do have some mastery traits on, we'll go over them. I'm not going to unequip them right now, it's okay. We have attack up, damage cap up, max HP, attack 30%. Here we have some damage cap, we have our Merculite, we have some crit damage caps. It's all just kind of like basic stuff. It's not really going to change the test, so here we're just going to leave it on. And you can see what's here for posterity. This will still be a baseline. We're going to keep everything equipped that you see here, so don't worry about it. And none of it's going to really change what the point of the video is going to be, which is how powerful dots are. We're going to go over to practice, and we need a baseline. So what is our first baseline going to be? We need to know how much our dots are dealing. So let's go ahead and apply a dot, shall we? Lethal Rain. There's a poison. And you can see the dot ticking up right now. There's the 170 per tick. And you'll notice it's a blue text. So let's go ahead and slap on our trusty War Elemental, which is going to give us the superior element. Or will it? When you equip War Elemental, this is something that I feel every single character should use. You do not have to use it if you are going up against your type advantage in a fight, but really that's annoying and it's a lot of micromanaging depending on the quest. Just use it on every character, yeah. Most of the time it's going to be on a summon anyway. Okay, so now we have superior element. You're going to see the orange numbers now. There's the orange numbers. But look, the dot is still blue. And it is 170. Dots are going to be a unique type of damage. So now we know. Also, 170 is kind of butts. So what's going on here? Well, Sir Barold has a unique mechanic with infinite HP, where the amount of HP he has kind of isn't real. So we're going to go ahead and change him to Chaos++. Now, let's see how much our damage will deal. We're going to apply our dot. Now you'll notice we're dinging 337, 370. How are we dealing this much? Because that's a lot of damage. Well, to answer that, we're going to need to take a look at our attack sheet. So here is where our first unique circumstance happens in our dots. You'll look over here and you will see our attack power is 168, 685. Now an interesting thing is happening. We are dealing 2 times the damage that you see in that sheet. Crazy, isn't it? Well, how about burn? Is there a way to test burn? There is. We're going to reset and we have a skill. It's Depravity. That's going to unleash a poison and a burn tick. Let's see how much these dots deal. You will notice there are now multi 337, 370s. Divide that in half. You are going to get, that's right, 168, 685. You'll also notice the frequency of the dot is 1 every second. You may additionally note that the dots are not adding together. The floating text is individual between the burn and the poison. Which leads us to our next test. What happens if we have multiple instances of burn and multiple instances of poison? Can we even do that? Let's find out. If we tick on Lethal Rain then Depravity, we should, in theory, get 2 poisons, 1 burn. So let's go ahead and add our Depravity. Let's add our Lethal Rain, and now take a look at the damage. You will notice one of them is added together, 674, 740. The other one is 337, 370. So you will see they are adding together. We have our poisons ticking together. One of the poisons is falling off. Now they go back to 337, 370s. This is pretty neat because I don't like visual clutter on my screen, so condensing the numbers, I'm all for it. And now you know exactly what you're looking for when you're looking at the values. So we've seen that our dots deal 2 times the attack sheet damage. But did you know Tweyen has more dots? Tweyen's Warpath offers a chance to burn or poison the enemy, which is random on any chargeable attack. Now, these attacks do not have to be charged. How do I know? Well, I've tested it. Should you believe me? No, you shouldn't. Now I will simply hold my basic attack, and you will notice that I begin charging. That means it should now, theoretically, be able to inflict a dot. And it did. We got pretty lucky. You will notice this dot is only ticking for 168, 685, so what's going on there? Isn't that our attack value? that's not 2 times at all. This leads us to myth busting our first rumor.
Streamer, the fire and the poison from Warpath only tick for 1x your attack sheet damage, buddy. Don't worry, I've tested it myself.
That's awesome, and I trust you, but I trust the numbers more. So let's see what's going on. We're going to restart and inflict a poison. But first, I want to show you that you could just tap the button to inflict an ailment. There's the poison, and you'll notice it's ticking for, ooh, that's not 168, that's 337370. That's twice our attack sheet damage. This is our first rumor, myth busted. This means the damage from Lethal Rain, the damage from Depravity, and the poison damage from Warpath each deal twice your attack sheet damage, while the fire from your Warpath only deals 1 times the damage. Which leads us to our next test. What if we just max our attack? To do so, we're going to go over to our gear, and we're going to add a few things. For the purpose of this test, I went ahead and made a build beforehand. This set features attack power, tyranny, some damage cap, we'll get into that later, Fatebreaker, glass cannon, and sumo force. Sumo force is a sigil you'll get from Jumbo Crab, and if you clear it 5 times, you'll get a pretty good bonus. I actually recommend this if you're starting Endless Ragnarok. This carried me until I got to Chaos++, and even then, still a lot of value. By equipping every one of these, you'll notice our attack power goes up to 465, 972, and that's crazy good. But can it go even higher? With Berserker, it can. Here we've slapped on 2 levels of Berserker. With our Sigil Booster, this brings us up to plus 31, giving us an attack boost of 80%. Now, you'll see our attack power is over 900,000!
What? 900,000?
Well, we need to add just a little bit more. So let's go over to Summons and add in some flat attack. Here we'll filter. I do not recommend this in normal play, but this attack power-up will actually be useful for once. And oh my god, we have an attack 2200. Yes, we're going to use that. And here we have attack 3000. Yes, we will do that. What else do we have on the board? Attack 2000, sure, why not? And another attack 2000, sure, why not? Very cool. Okay, now, this is very simple. Our sheet is 999, 999, which means we should deal 999, 999 with the single burn, and we should deal 2 points shy of 2 million with every other dot. Sir Barrel's about to get messed up. Look at that, 2 million damage per tick. Wait a minute. That's only 585,000. So what's going on here? Clearly we're able to do enough damage, so why aren't we? How about the other dots? Let's put the other dots up. Maybe there's something wrong with that button. 585,000. What is happening? Let's add more dots. More dots, more dots. How about now? Well, no, one of them, they're clearly adding up. So I don't understand what's going on. This is the question you may be asking. And the answer is quite simple. Dots have a proportionate cap to the max HP of the enemy you're fighting. Don't believe me? Let's try another difficulty. We jump on down to Chaos Plus. Provided we don't end the enemy's life with a single hit, let's see how much we deal now. 409,500. That's kind of crazy. So how do we figure out how much HP the enemy has? Thanks, Glanza. I knew I could count on you, but we want Chaos++. I suspect the enemy has about 39 million HP. But don't take my word for it. Let's find out. I just love Glanza. You'll notice the enemy has just shy of a hit point, and we are at 38,920,060. This actually panned out better than I thought it was going to. I'm going to tap him, and he's going to die. Boom. Yeah, so 39 million. What is 39 million divided by 585,000? The answer to that is 1.5, which means 1.5% of the boss's max HP is being dealt as a dot. If I'm right, we should now be able to deal just shy of 2 million damage per dot tick. And the reason why is the world has a bajillion HP! Let's take a look. And you'll see right there, 199,998. If you do need to dodge out of the way, you can use 1 basic, 1 power. Of course, if you do get struck, it's kinda gonna suck. I've been suggesting supplementary damage to everybody over every build. Does it work on dots? That's a good question. Let's find out. We'll see here. We don't have any supplemental in the build. We do not have Berserker Echo. And we do not have Spartan Echo. Let's go ahead and pop on some supplementary and see what happens. And just like that, we've got a 100% chance for supplementary. We pull up our attack sheet and you'll see that we have 999, 999. We should hit for the damage cap. And you'll see that we are proccing the supplementary hit. You see the secondary hit hitting for 35, 108. So now let's go ahead and apply a dot. Here, you'll see just one instance of damage ticking for 585,000, which is the damage we were dealing before, which means the supplementary is not affecting our damage. What about attack buffs and debuffs? Here, there's a defense down on the boss. Let's see how much the tick is for. 585,000. Doesn't seem great, but our attack is capped, so what if we remove that? Now we've lowered our attack down to 192,637, which means we should be able to deal twice that amount, and if defense goes down, should be even more. Let's see what happens. There's the defense down, and there are the dots. 385,274. We are simply dealing twice the damage, meaning debuffs do not work. This is pretty nice for us to think about because we don't have to worry about buffs and debuffs and all that good stuff, but what about overdrive? Is there a way to check that? As a matter of fact, there is. Sir Belt has an option to change him over to overdrive. He also has one for break. We'll check both. Additionally, since we had a damage cap on already, and it did not change our damage past 2 times the value, you could see the damage cap is not interacting with the dots either. Let's go ahead and pop on some dots. Here we go, there's the burn, there's the poison. We're going to apply another poison just for good measure. You'll see there's the 117 and the 585 that we had before. Same amount of damage while the boss is in overdrive. How about break? As you can see here, still the same amount of damage, meaning that overdrive, break do not matter. Bloodthirst does not matter. Damage cap does not matter. Supplementary does not matter. All of our Celestials don't make a lick of difference. The only thing that's going to help you is Fatebreaker because it increases our attack sheet cap by 50%. Why does this inconsistency exist when we have other things like Stamina and Enmity? Well, let's check if Stamina and Enmity are even working. We're going to strip everything we've got. Now I did get a little ahead of myself and I assumed that Enmity wouldn't work when I haven't shown you that it does or does not. So to go ahead and show you, here you'll see that it boosts attack by a max of 100%. And if we go to remove one, you will see that our attack value has not changed, meaning that our sheet attack is not changing. When I say sheet, I do mean Song's character sheet. And when I say Song, I mean Tweyen because her original name is Song. So here, we should have our attack increased by 100%, meaning we should deal twice as much as this and then double that. We should reach the 585 cap. What's going to happen? You'll notice our dots are ticking for 385, 274. Enmity does not work. How silly is that? What about something like Life on the Line? Here, we've got our Life on the Line that gives attack plus 50%. Will this work? You'll notice that our sheet attack did not change while we have this on. And then we put up a dot, Life on the Line and Enmity, neither of which are affecting things. What's going on? I really do think they should patch the game to either be more clear with the terminology or make these interactions work. Because, as it stands, you really only have one way that you're maxing your attack. Unless you get giga lucky with overmasteries and summons, you're going to be running Glass Cannon and Berserker. If you run Glass Cannon, you're going to get dizzied every time you get hit. And if you run Berserker, you can't dodge or block. Not being able to dodge or block is okay, but you can't interact with the world's fractured world mechanic, and you can't interact with Beelzebub's orbs. My recommendation, don't worry about capping a 99999999999. Alright, all I'd recommend is a Glass Cannon build with improved dodge. Here is the build I recommend. There can be some things changed. I do not have this perfect. I just threw it together for the sake of the video, and it got me through Infinity Quests. We're only rocking one basic sigil, but the Sumo Force could trade out for a basic sigil too. No big deal. Sumo Force does grant us stun power, so it's pretty good. We have 3 defensive sigils. There is a little bit of supplementary, but really, I'm highly valuing Firm Stance. That's going to make it so we don't get pulled or sucked in from anything. We got our damage cap capped, we have our tyranny capped, attack is all the way up, and then we have Glass Cannon in conjunction with Nimble Onslaught and Flight Overfight. Now, when we perfect dodge a Flight Overfight, we reduce our damage by 50% for 6 seconds. That's huge. This is both a buff and a nerf, depending on your situation from the DLC. If you're playing Lancelot and uses Triangle's Whirlwind, it will not proc Flight Over Fight, meaning this is a gain since you can only use your R2 to dodge in situations where you're really under... Since you'll really only use your R2 to dodge when you're under dire straits. And on Lancelot, if you lose your stacks of Avalanche, it's game over. But we're not playing Lancelot right now, we're playing Tweyen. So how does Song's Flight Over Fight interaction work with our dots? Let's find out. To do this, we're going to have to activate Sir Barreled in attack mode. Now, when we dodge, you'll see a blue sword debuff appear on our buff bar. This means we're dealing less damage, so when we put the dot up, it should be nerfed. But you'll notice, we're still sitting 585. Now we do have 740,000 attack, so I guess we need to strip off some of our attack to actually make it seem like a baseline test. So here, we've stripped down to 261,986, meaning if our dot deals double the damage, and we have 50% debuff, we should just be dealing this same amount, 261,986. Let's find out. And there's our dot. And there's our 523,972, which is twice the value of our attack, meaning Flight Over Fight does not penalize us. Which means that Song can run Flight Over Fight, and it's pretty awesome, let's go! That's why I recommend running the Glass Cannon build, because although the rest of your damage will be nerfed, as you'll see here, we just dealt 16,434. And now we dealt 9,586. But the point of the build is dots, so Flight Over Fight to your heart's content. Circling back to Glass Cannon, if you do get a kick me sound on your back, Flight Over Fight isn't helping you, you're gonna end up dizzied. Now remember, I said I had an answer for that, and that answer is Potent Greens. Which brings us to myth-busting rumor number 2. You need level 30 Potent Greens to dispel Dizzy. And the tangential rumor, you can't actually dispel Dizzy with Potent Greens. We're not gonna believe words, are we? I mean, come on, we're people of math here, so let's go ahead and check out some math. Let's jump into the Ruby Golem. No. Green potions remove the debuffs, not the blue ones. Yes, it removes Dizzy. It removes Dizzy. I can move. I'm not stunned. I just wasn't moving. See? I can move. I can move just fine. I do not need 2 potent greens to cleanse the Dizzy. I'm cleansing it right now. You just must use a green potion and not a blue potion. See? You must use a green potion. That's why it is called Potent Greens. Whoa! The lore drop! The words are important. The words matter. You think it doesn't work on the big one? Let's take one. Let's take one for the team. Yeah, it must be the little potion. It must be the little potion. We just applied a dot and you can see it ticking in the background. For true damage still. It's not affected by the overdrive. It's not affected by Bloodthirst. And this is why we test things, right? This is why we test things. I was running Life on the Line thinking that it was maybe doing something. It wasn't. You know, we thought maybe the Potent Greens worked a certain way and we've just shown that it doesn't. So like, we're learning. Do dots tick in downtime? Well, yes they do. High atop his throne, he can't escape the poison and burn. Yeah, you could see. We have just one test left to do. How does Drain interact with dots? Well, let's find out. You'll see here we've attached a little bit of Drain to our build, so hopefully while we're attacking we're recovering some HP. But first, we need to set our HP down to 1%. Let's go over to Barreled, 1% it up, and restart with changes. As we're attacking, you will see we are regenerating health. So now let's go ahead and apply some dots. You'll see that the dots are ticking for quite a lot of HP, but we are not actually regenerating anything, meaning Drain doesn't work on dots. This is not very surprising, but it's good to be validated. You deserve your sleep, Barreled. So what about other characters with dots? What if I want my Lord Percy to go in with this? Well, let's find out. You'll see here he's gonna get his charge. We do need to plan on a reset, which we did obtain. And you'll see the dots are ticking. So all we're really doing with this playstyle is playing skill spam still. Of course, you know, the dummy died. But yeah, Percy could totally play this style. Zeta also has a DOT, but it's not very reliable. It's got an incredibly long cooldown. Additionally, you can play Eugen, who I believe has poison, and I do not know if he has a burn. I do not play him very much, and I do not have Cagliostro unlocked. Io can also do a DOT build. So, there are several characters you can do DOTs with if you wish to, and I really encourage you to just explore and have fun. We're just playing the game, just have some fun. I know I am. That's why I'm making all of these different builds. We've gone through the Immortal series, we're going through some meme DOT builds, we're going through some other meme builds, and we'll be covering Vayne the Terminus tank real soon. And on our radar now, due to popular demand, it's something I've kind of wanted to build upon, Substitute Captain. That's a build I knew was very strong right at the get-go, but I'm not a very good captain player, so I didn't really test it out. Please look forward to Seophon. I just started learning the character this week, and there's really nothing better than, exercising your brain and picking up a new character. So I'm really excited to play more Seophon. He seems so cool, and he gets unlimited blade works. So maybe I'm just a tourist because I love Relink, but you know what? This game is something special, and it brought me into the franchise. And thank you for sticking around through the video. We have a lot of data, a lot of questions that got answered, and hopefully this has helped you. Also, as a quick note, there was a tweet put out today by Psy Games and Granblue, noting that there are changes coming. The news went live while I was editing this Tweyen video. I'll cover it later today. I'm really excited about what this could mean, and maybe it'll open up a whole plethora of new stuff to do. That's all from me. Until next time, laters gators.